Greetings all, this is Ohio Dan. The subject for today's video is don't be an orbiter. And I really want to extend the concept of being an orbiter from its original meaning, which is pretty specific, to a more general way of not allowing yourself to fall into a similar pattern of behavior. What I mean by that is being an orbiter basically describes guys who think that they're going to get laid. They believe that if they hang around a woman enough, she'll like him and find him attractive sexually, and she'll want to get with him. Maybe you could say that it's about wanting to date her too, having a crush on her or whatever, but the result's pretty much the same. You end up getting friend zoned, so to speak, and the term orbiter and the term friend zone go together. And basically you as a guy waste your time, waste your effort, thinking that this is how women work, that, well, you just basically need to gain their trust over time. You need to get them to like you over time based on who you are. And it's not valid, right? This is not the way that people find each other attractive. This is not the way that people decide who they're going to sleep with or not. There are a lot of negative factors, frankly, at play when it comes to who women decide to sleep with today. I'm not going to primarily go into that. I mean, you could say the same for guys, to be honest. Guys are taught to think with their dicks, and their biology is not redirected in any sort of healthy way. And so guys think that they can use these various strategies that are really designed around kind of women being able to do what they want. And these orbiter men don't really ever get any. They don't get love, they don't get sex, because the women don't actually find them attractive. And they end up putting themselves into negative situations for years sometimes because they don't realize that's what they're doing, or they're not mentally capable of realizing that they can't continue to think with their little head. They're not to that point yet in life. They've been misdirected. They've been taught a lot of things that just aren't true about their biology. And so they become orbiters, and they stay that way for a long period of time in many cases, thinking that that's the way into a woman's heart and all that kind of stuff, along with basically getting into her pants. Again, the form can vary, but in reality, it's just about men being simps and allowing themselves to be taken advantage of. The orbiter concept, as this undesirable state of affairs, really extends, though, beyond men who allow themselves to be friend-zoned by women. This concept can be extended to not hanging around other people while hoping that they'll be your friend or approve of you someday, or respect you someday. Don't be an orbiter in any sense with anybody is basically the point of this video. Don't allow yourself to think that people will like you if you're just nice enough to them for a long period of time, or that people will respect you at work if you do good work for a long period of time. And then it turns out that they don't care about that and they're just using you anyway, and your situation's not really a positive one. Maybe you're getting compensated, but to stay there long term may not be a very healthy environment to be in. Same with your personal relationships, with your family. It boils down to the same type of thing. Don't have this orbiter mindset to really anybody in life. This idea of being subservient, this idea of taking other people's crap because you want them to like you. It doesn't work when it comes to men being friend-zoned by women. It doesn't work for anything else either, from what I can see. Sure, I mean, you have people that like the yes men, and you can be a sycophant and essentially just put yourself in a position where your identity is serving another person, but even that in the long run just makes you pretty much a slave. You don't want to do that to yourself either. Even that's not a healthy position to be in. Even if it seems to give you short-term benefits and clout with people, you're still not really going to be respected at all. Being an orbiter in any form is really just a bad idea and a negative position to put yourself into. I've tried in the past when I was younger and dumber to ingratiate myself with people. I've tried to get people to like me. It never works. People either like you or they don't, and if they don't, they can go fuck themselves. I know maybe that's a little bit of a vulgar way of putting it, but it is what it is. When people see that you're willing to do things for them and they see that you're being nice to them and whatnot, that doesn't really change whether they like you in most cases, unless they kind of like you to begin with, unless they're willing to be copacetic with you over whatever shared experience you have to begin with. If they don't like you, they're not going to like you. They're not going to change their mind just because you're trying to be nice to them or you're trying to work hard to get them to approve of you in some way. So being an orbiter is just a bad idea across the board. This concept applies to various other aspects of life, not just the friend zone from a guy's point of view. It's far better to focus your attention on your own interests and those who are proven friends and loved ones instead. The people that already have shown that they like you. They already have shown that they're someone that respects you. They're already someone that has a positive role to play in your life. You don't want to necessarily suck up to them or just do whatever they want you to do, of course, but those are the kinds of people you spend your time with. Those are the kinds of people that you can have healthy relationships with. It never makes sense to try to use orbiter tactics to get people to like you instead. That's not the way to go. People either, again, they like you or they don't, and it's probably not going to change. And if it does, it's not something you really have control or direction over anyway. It's going to be that person's thing. And if they don't like you, that's cool. But they can stay the F away from you, right? That's what works a lot better. So new people may come into your life based on merits, but trying to prove anything to random acquaintances isn't a paying proposition, because doing so will usually be a waste of time and set you up for getting used for no good reason. It's something that, just like with a guy, thinks he's going to get with a woman because he's nice to her and they're friends, and he does her all these favors, and he's there when her boyfriend or F-buddy treats her badly. That's not something that's actually going to get that man a relationship or a sexual interaction with that woman in nearly all cases. And so it's a waste of time. It's a negative position to be in. This is true with other environments that you can find yourself in, other situations where it's not advantageous for you to even engage with someone because you already have established that they're not your friend. They've already made it clear that they don't want you around, so don't stick around. Don't be an orbiter in any aspect of life beyond just the friend zone and relationships and all that type of thing. One should only engage in relationships with people that exhibit reciprocity, and being an orbiter in any form precludes this possibility. There is no reciprocity if you're the one sacrificing all the time, consistently. There is no reciprocity if the person doesn't like you or respect you anyway. There is no reciprocity if you're not appreciated. There is no reciprocity if that person doesn't value you being in their life. And if they don't value you that way, that's part of life too. Being able to cope with that, being able to move on, but you move on pretty much immediately once you figure this out. You don't act as an orbiter trying to get people to appreciate you or approve of you in any way. It just doesn't work well like that. And I would argue, even as a girl, it doesn't really work well that way, right? People will pretend to like you because they want to get with you. Like, the situation's different in terms of the relationship dynamic. But even for a woman, I would say you still don't spend time trying to get people to like you. Women operate differently, though. I know women have the frenemy thing going on, as Stardust has talked about quite a bit recently. I get that that's a thing. I don't think that's healthy for anybody. But if that's what women want to do, they can. That's kind of their problem at that point. I don't recommend that. Even for women, I don't recommend that. But I would say that you just don't act as an orbiter for anyone. If someone doesn't like you, they don't respect you, or if you're the one giving and they never give anything in return, and this is family members too. Right? And again, regardless of gender, if you've got family members that are taking advantage of you, it's all one-sided. As soon as you stop doing what they want or saying what they want you to say, they decide to go after you. Don't hang around in that situation either. Cut them loose. That's what actually works best. Don't be an orbiter in family situations in the sense of trying to get family members to appreciate you. That's a bad idea as well. They either appreciate you already or they can kick bricks. That's really the better solution from certain negative situations I've had in the past, and I'm sure that a lot of you guys can identify with that as well. So in other words, don't put any time and effort focusing on anyone who hasn't already earned a place of significance in your life, even if it's a small place of significance or a rather large one. Either way, and anything in between. If they don't have a positive role to play in your life, don't waste your time trying to ingratiate yourself with those people. Don't waste your time trying to get them to like you or respect you. Don't hang around just trying to be nice to them when they're not willing to be nice to you. If they're not nice to you, they can go F themselves. That's the solution that works best. That, to me, is the way to approach this. And so I think it's valuable to take the concept of being an orbiter and rejecting that concept when it comes to simping from a guy's point of view because you like a woman that's not really interested in you in that way. It also applies to a variety of other areas and aspects of life where you don't really want to have that orbiter mentality either. It never works out well. It always just allows you to be taken advantage of, from what I've seen at least. I don't see how that can work out well, and I just reject the idea of doing that in general. It's not just rejecting being an orbiter when it comes to relationships with women or being friend-zoned by women. It's also life in general, and I think this concept can be extended in that way.